Hey everyone, welcome to the Paint Log. My name's Keith, and today we're going to talk about my hobby progress this week. I got minimal painting done this week. I did prep up some zombies. They look just uniformly gray, but I promise you they're Zenithal. Maybe if I hold the focus camera. Kinda. I will be painting up those gals later on this week, probably this weekend. And that'll just be a quick project. But I'm super excited about this little guy. Again, you can't really tell. You'll see some pictures of him next week. But he's going to be my D&D character. I get to play for once. Yay! So this week has been pretty D&D heavy. The mini that I just showed, I'm going to paint him up. His name is Orthos the Vile. We're playing in an evil one-shot that my friend is running. I have my character sheet here because I'm a nerd and I'm excited. Look at all the spells. Look at this. That's a lot of spells. It's like an evil one-shot centered around going down to the Chinese underworld. We're all going to have already died. And we start at level 6, and I am a fiend patron warlock, which means that the person that gives me powers is a devil or a demon. It's just like chef's kiss, right? And again, we start at level 6, so I was able to kind of work things around and get some things. So I have Pact of the Blade. I'm ranting so hard right now. And that lets me have a magic weapon, right? And I can then I can also smite with my magic weapon, and I can also do an extra attack with my magic weapon. So I calculated how much damage I can do in one turn, right? And if I pour everything into it and I crit, so I get double damage on my base attacks, right? I can do 92 damage in one turn at level 6 with a sword as a warlock. But on the other hand, while I'm magically very strong and in, I guess, by consequence of that, I have a sword, but it's a magic sword, right? I am very weak. I rolled really poorly for my health, and I have 34 health total, and I'm very, very weak. But that goes perfect for the old man type of guy. The character really came out. I'm looking forward to it. I'm super, super pumped. I hope that comes across. I'm pretty sure it has. And on top of that, I got to play D&D with the work friends this weekend, and it was a lot of fun. I think they had a really good time. I got to talk to them today a little bit about it, and 2 of them were gung-ho about trying another session, and the third is kind of roped into it no matter what happens. As a disclaimer to anyone who played in the game and might watch this video, if I rant about something, and it's completely on me. I'm not talking about anyone, just letting I love y'all. Just to give you a brief synopsis, the adventurers met in a tavern. They had a bar fight. They kind of wrecked the place up a bit. They were going to be kicked out of town, and then the head high warden of the prison decided to offer them a night in solitary in order to redeem their things. Well, people have been disappearing in solitary, and the high warden has an ulterior motive of trying to get them to figure out what's going on. So he puts them into solitary and asks them to rescue a tiefling servant of his named Scorn. They climb down a giant pit, run into some spiders and some spider humanoids, and then eventually realize there's this priestess, and she's trying to turn people into these spider humanoids, and she has this tiefling named Scorn, and we stumbled upon it right in the middle of this ritual, and we need to stop this from happening. And they stopped the ritual, and they successfully saved Scorn by stuffing her into a bag of holding, which was wonderful. And then sorry, the adventurers stopped the ritual, but the priestess ended up getting away. And when I was talking to one of my players today, he was mentioning about how he really wants to get her and kind of hunt her down, and that was a new player, and that woo. And everyone seems really excited. I do have thoughts on my own, though. That was rather ominous, but it's all personal stuff. I realize I suck at intros. I should have set that up better. I didn't give a whole lot of narration. You don't necessarily have to give a whole lot of narration when you're opening a whole bunch, setting up a scene. The players can ask questions and ask for feedback, and that can give more interaction. But like, with new players, I don't know if it's best to start off with the social interaction. It was like, hey, welcome to D&D. Now I'm going to talk to you in a funny voice and ask you to respond to me. And not necessarily in a funny voice, but that's still rather intimidating, rather than, oh god, these goblins showed up, beat the ever-loving poop out of them. There were a lot of combats, and I think it was good to focus on that. I think that was one of the biggest areas where people were concerned about, like, utilizing their abilities and stuff. And I think that went really well. I just think maybe there was one too many. There was a point where they were traveling down a cave filled with spider webs, and I asked them to roll a random encounter with a d12, a 12-sided dice. I asked for an 11 or a 12, and not thinking that any one of the three would get it, and unfortunately one person did. So we had a random encounter, which extended the time a little bit. I think that definitely could have been taken out. And I think there should have been more of an emphasis on like social interactions. Granted, it's solitary confinement; you don't really expect social interactions there, but that's something I plan to remedy in the, I guess, future upcoming session. For while Scorn is very grateful for the adventures saving her, she does not particularly want to go back to the prison. So I don't know how they're going to convince her to do that, especially when she's pretty certain she knows of a way of getting through these tunnels. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up. So remember, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you really like the video and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I release a video like this every Thursday, albeit sometimes with more painting. And I would really love to have you along on that journey. And as always, I'm Keith. This has been the Paint Log, and I will see you all next time. Bye!